Welcome back. You're watching The Capital Point, and on this part of the segment, we look at youth unemployment. Now, data shows us that 9 out of 10 unemployed Kenyans are under the age of 35, and the largest unemployment rate was recorded in the age group of 20 to 24. Joining me in studio now is Erick Oduor, who's an executive board member at Cotu. Thank you so much for making time to be on the show.
Thank you so much.
First things first, and just gauging from your experience within the labor space, what do you see as the status of youth unemployment in Kenya today?
Actually, we call it a crisis because we've got so many youths who are being churned out from the universities and some colleges, but there are no jobs for them. So definitely it means that we are creating a population from the universities, but we do not have jobs to accommodate them. So basically that is affecting the economy, because if you look at the training, some of these young people, there's a lot of investments that are going in. But when they are out there, when they are actually now supposed to benefit the economy, they are idling somewhere because there are no opportunities to absorb them so that they can apply the skills that they acquired from the colleges and universities. Yes.
Speaking of the colleges and universities, before we go into the opportunities, because there are some opportunities, are our universities churning out students that are versatile for the market as we know it today?
Yeah, I think there is a problem. I know there was a study that was carried out between Cotu and FKE when you're just looking at the skills that are required by industries. And we realized that there are skills mismatch, because the skills that right now are being honed in universities, some of them are not actually applicable in industries because of change in technology, change in ideas. So when these students or graduates go out there, they find it very difficult to do. So you'll realize someone has been in university for 4 years, but this person was taken to the industry for a completely different environment. So they end up doing jobs that they were not trained in. Yes.
And in that case, of course, production is
definitely. Because what will happen, and what employers actually say, is that you'll get this person from the university, then you'll spend quite some time and resources to train so that you are able now to get maximum productivity from this employee. Yes.
What would that mean then? So going back to the universities would be to ask them, to then train the kids or the children to reflect exactly what the market needs.
What we require here is close collaboration between the businesses and colleges, so that we are able to know where the market is heading to and the skills that are required, so that when these graduates get out of our colleges and universities, they already have the right skills. So what is important is closer collaboration between the colleges, universities, and even the government. So that's where now different government institutions come in. And because I've seen that's what's happening in other economies. I will give you, for example, South Africa, where there is National Economic Development and Labor Council that even has a fully fledged research department that actually just does research, the skills that are required in the market. And therefore, from there, they're able now to link up with the colleges and the government department so that they're able to upgrade some of the skills and some of the equipment that are required in colleges. So,
what is your view of TVET and vocational training? And over the last couple of years, we've seen the government really try to put extra emphasis on vocational training and upskilling, especially for people who felt, they didn't get into university, but hey, look here, there's something else you can do. And as we spoke earlier, the job opportunities are actually in the informal market.
Yes, that was a noble idea when the government started to invest in TVETs and even in NITA, so that we're able to get the right equipment to train these graduates and even employees who are already in the industries. Because employers were saying that it also became difficult and also expensive to train employees because of acquiring the equipment that are required or the facilities that are required. So the government came in and invested in the TVET so that employees actually who are already in the industry can get the opportunities to go to the TVET and even in NITA, and they are trained so that they are able to match the skills that are actually required by the industry at that particular time. Yeah, so the idea of TVET was very noble. The problem that we had with it was the way it was executed, because I don't think it was a proper consultation, because they came up with we were called to one of the stakeholders engagement, and they had already even developed a curriculum.
So you were not involved?
Yeah,
in
so we are involved, yes.
Okay.
So you realize that a curriculum has already been developed, but the industry players were not consulted so that they can have an input in it. But it was a noble idea in terms of acquisition of equipment, so that we can use this equipment to train those who are leaving universities and even the employees who are already in the industry. I'll tell you, for example, somebody said that some of these people, we encourage them to go into the informal sector. For example, where some of us take our cars for repair. You will realize that when I take my car for a repair to their garage, that car actually, the mechanic uses that car to train someone else because there is nowhere to train. So when the government started investing in the equipment, so it means that if you go to a Chebet that actually majors in mechanical engineering, then it means that these people who could have been trained using my car, they are now using the latest machines that have already been installed by the government in this training institution. So Chebet actually has really helped, only if it can be executed better.
In what ways would you recommend, or what would you expect the government to do going forward, given the engagements that has happened after that?
Yeah, there are different organizations that the government can always partner with, because I said some of these things need closer collaboration between the industry players and colleges, so that there is that way of sharing ideas and the skills that are required. So what we need is the government should reach out to as many organizations as possible, those in the Juakali sectors, those who are in informal sectors, so that there is a way how they are able to put all these efforts together for to get the results that are required when we take these employees and graduates to Chebet to acquire the latest skills. Yes.
Let's talk about entrepreneurship for a minute. Young people are constantly, day in, day out, being encouraged to get into entrepreneurship. However, the question is, are they prepared, in school, for instance, to be entrepreneurs? If you're taking somebody to a Chebet, are you telling them you can be, you can own and you can start the business? So I guess the question is, is entrepreneurship the silver bullet?
What we usually say is that some of these things you need to start early preparation, so that if you want to encourage these people to go into entrepreneurship, is something that needs to start from the college or university, so that you start practicing. We've seen that as the representative of workers, whereby somebody goes to, especially right now we're talking about, I've seen that there's a lot of notices for people who are going to be rendered redundant. So that is when now you are being told that we are paying you this money and you start business at that particular time, when previously you've not engaged. So it means that when we want to encourage young people to go into business, is something that has to start right away from when they are going into schools. They start developing those business plans. So by the time they are going out, it's something that already actually flowing in their blood. Other than producing them from colleges and universities, when they hope that when they go out there, actually they are going to look for jobs and they're going to get jobs in the informal sector, only to be told that, oh, there are no jobs. You now start thinking about doing business and being self-employed. So if you want to do self-employment, it's something that has to start from the beginning, when we are training this person, so that even when you're acquiring the skills, you already know what you want. For example, even here now in the media industry, when you are leaving the colleges, you may want to venture into to production. So that means something that you start building in your mind from the college. You know the right equipment, you already start doing your own research, where are the gaps, because again, it will be meaningless to go and start venturing because someone else has ventured in that particular. So it means that when you are in the college, you start also preparing your mind and trying to find out where are the gaps in the market, where are the opportunities in the market that you're able to tap into, so you're able to also to grow your business, other than going to where other people already ventured. Because of the competition, you might not make it, because maybe these guys have enough resources, have the muscles that actually will emasculate you from the business. Yeah.
You're right. We're a very Me Too society. When somebody starts a business in selling quail eggs, suddenly
yes, everybody wants to go into
sell
yes.
quail eggs.
Yes.
Just a very quick one on funds like the Youth Fund, Uwezo, and all these SME or entrepreneurship funds that that have been set up. Do you think it is working in the way that it should, or are there other ways of creating funds that actually work for young people?
most of these funds, they do not work for young people. And I think it has been proven that even if you look at the youth quota or women quota in the procurement that was there, you'll find that these businesses are registered by people who are already in the businesses. But they use the youth as quasi-partners in these businesses. So the business, you may read that is owned by a youth, but just by proxy. So they end up not helping the youth. Because that was saying is all about the preparing the youth from the beginning. Because if you've not been prepared about the business you want to do, basically, even if you are given this money, you'll not go far. So what we need to do is we must start preparing the youth early enough so that when you give them the money, they're able to use this money, and also they could also use that to stop or to insulate them from manipulation, because it has been proven that if you are able to vet some of these companies that end up getting the quota for women and youth, they are not the youth. They are people who are already in businesses who are only using the business names owned by youth to do business. So it has been proven.
It's unfortunate. As we wind up, what advice do you have for young people out there who may fall in this particular bracket that we're talking about?
From where we sit, we are seeing the world is now shifting from formal economy to informal economy. That's where opportunities are. It doesn't matter whether you have a degree or not. What matters is how you're able to use your skills to make out a living. So jobs are already moving away from informal from formal to informal sector. And then in the union movement, we are talking about two things. We are talking about a future of work, where you must also know that we are talking about this technology, this globalization, and all these will bring a disruption. So when you're going out there, these are some of the things you expect. Then also to encourage the youth is also that we are also talking about decent work agenda as an ILO, according to Sustainable Development Goal number 8, talks about job that is sustainable, job that is productive, job that has got fair income, and job that also offers social protection, so that if you are in a society, we are able to deal with vulnerable people and also promote inclusivity. Yes.
Thank you very much, Erick, for making time to be with us on the Capital Point tonight. I've been speaking to Erick Oduor, Executive Board Member, Cotu, who's been giving us an in-depth analysis of the current state of youth unemployment, the opportunities that exist, as well as the challenges both the youth, the government and policymakers are facing in as far as youth unemployment is concerned. Thank you so much for keeping us company tonight on the Capital Point. My name is Terryanne Chebet. Let's talk business again next Wednesday.